Brad and his guys go up there, take the fence out with a backhoe, tear out, I don't know how thick the concrete is, get rid of the walls,
Line the river with the concrete or something.
and just haul dirt out and just, for now, just
Seed
regrade it
Seed it.
and be done. I mean,
That is
That's
my
all it is.
opinion, that is
Yeah.
my
if
opinion.
that's all it is, then they
Yeah.
could probably do it. But
Especially
if they need an excavator to do it because the concrete is so thick,
And you're gonna also wanna discuss with the school, and you're gonna have to understand that during tennis season, there are gonna be kids out at the park, which is going to take away from other community members' use during that time frame. A lot like the golfers go and use the golf course. So that's gonna have to be discussed with the school, so they know too. So don't you have some agreement with them in place? for
I'm
the
not
use?
sure
No.
how much more they would be using the ones out at the golf course.
For
They have,
practice,
they have
I'm sure.
enough. I don't know.
Practice-wise, I'd say the only time I feel that they use the ones by Westmore is for tournaments.
that tournament, and that's a once-a-year tournament when they got,
And-
they
and-
don't
and
use it for
duels, and
practice.
duels.
They don't use it for practice.
I'm not sure that they do. I can't answer that, but that's my opinion. I think the school uses it when they have meets.
Yeah, I mean, I think you take the 40 out and leave the removal as an O and M, or if it ends up being more expensive, it can come to council then as a.
Take the 40 out, just don't do nothing right now.
well, okay, so by the time, well, you can do it either way, take it out or leave it in. By the time we have our next discussion, I'll find out the difficulty of removing that thing.
And someone can find out with the school what the effect of that is, if we have an agreement or not.
They got plenty of time.
I mean, it very easily could be, you take the 40 out and they can still be played on for a year until you know what you're gonna do.
Right.
That's,
It's not like it
that's what I was
ceases
saying,
being
that's
used
what I
for
was
the day.
saying. Yeah, this doesn't start till.
July.
That's what I was saying, no one's trying to, but all I know, yeah. Okay, let's take the 40 out, I think.
Take the 40 out, okay. And then the cemetery, we're taking.
What page was that for you? There it is, there.
We're taking 20 out.
20 out.
Bringing it down to 10.
Okay.
So then, if we just did, if we gave Dave one guy, and cut 176, we would be fine, we would.
I can support one guy, not three. And I'm gonna go back to when I said I'm good with 200 grand on the land. I was told that the 150 was covered, so I'm not really interested in covering that 150. At this point.
Yeah, I think that would need to come as a separate.
I'm just trying to be
request.
fair.
The ARPA requests, we've done as individual items on council agenda, so I think that would come as an individual item on council agenda, to increase that, so.
But it wouldn't be encompassed in the budget.
I like the idea of one, this year, and if there's a greater need, then we see it, we see it. But-
Yeah, I mean, I'm good with adding one. I think if we see, okay, we're gonna need to down the road, I think we should try to get a grant to cover them. Cause I think continuing to add people, if we're gonna add them anyway, it's better to get a grant to cover them.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if
I
you get a
it
couple
from
for,
your-
no, I know, if you get a couple for years, but I also know that the reason I kind of switched my thinking on a new fire station is because, I believe we need to always be looking into a regional service. Merrill's not gonna be there forever, whatever, these different towns, and so I think we have to look at the powerhouse being us, so we need to move towards that direction.
It should be a source of revenue for us too, I would think. Hopefully they would help us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to change the subject, but my math says that you guys did a really good job. Do you really want the cemetery to piecemeal in their addition, if you have enough room?
Here, we could,
Put the 20 back.
I mean, if he's gonna do it,
we could,
just an idea.
I'd rather give Dave some of his equipment than the cemetery more money.
The cemetery, the reason I hear what you're saying, but I'm kind of with Brian on this, is I don't see the cemetery needing leaps and bounds. If we do a third of it versus doing the whole thing, I think we'd be good because I think the trend is cremation. And I'm not saying that that's gonna slow or expedite the 25 lots a year or not, but. Yep.
And we'd rather save lives than bury them, right?
So what is the math then, Jacob?
or?
I didn't think
485.
we were there.
How much
Came
were
up
we
with
at,
what?
485?
Yeah, 485,
And we needed how much?
410.
Didn't do that right.
Well, then maybe we should give him back his cemetery. Well, no, I didn't realize, I didn't think we had done that. I don't add this stuff while we go. I don't like to.
So we got 74.
We got 74 to the plus.
Yeah.
Yeah. You wanna leave the cemetery in there? Or we could do half of it, we could increase it to 15.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay.
Let's do that. So when we have extra to play with, what do we do with that? Is that just general fund dollars?
It'd be general fund dollars, yeah. So I mean, the other thing you could do is you could go back and cover some stuff that you've cut. And that,
Stuff
I mean,
will come
you
up,
like,
stuff will come up throughout the year.
yeah, there's always stuff.
This year, there will be some that come up.
Well, I mean, if you have,
That was a joke.
Expenses will always swell to fill the amount of money available.
Yeah.
Paychecks, well, and actually expenses.
And that's leaving the levy where it is. Yes, Mark, it is.
But I will say there's, on Dave's list, going back to that, there's an awful lot of small ticket items that you can fulfill 3 or 4 of those and not take a really big chunk out of the extra. Just a thought, you know. But if he can raise them too, I appreciate if he does that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Yeah, so I'll update everything with where we're at, and then council can see, okay, we're this much in the positive now. And then there still is time technically to make changes. So next council meeting, we'll set the hearing for the max property tax dollars. And we can discuss budget more at that time, and if there's an appetite from the council to add certain items, then we could.
Okay, the other thing that did come up in the finance committee, and I think it's a good idea, and bringing, when you say you're gonna update all of our booklets and stuff, you know, you print out a whole bunch. We did talk about switching to tablets up here. Is that something we wanna look at? I've heard that talked about for a long time. So that we can kinda get away from paper a little bit more. I don't need a paper copy, except when the budgets, or when the agendas are so large, it doesn't come through in a PDF, so, I mean,
There's a link there you can download it.
I do to flip back and forth, you know, as I read the, because I thought about too, about just leaving it on my computer, but
But you could probably bookmark each section too.
yeah, probably. I'm sure there's a way I can figure it out, but I like the idea of that. We do that at every other board that I sit on.
I've got a banker's box of paper for the first year, and I'm thinking, geez, I don't throw anything away, so.
Yeah.
well, and the other thing too that has been brought up about your conference room is, you know, having a FaceTime monitor on the wall, so when we're talking to our engineers, or we're talking to whoever.
audio visual, there's one on the wall.
Jacob and I want our COVID table back.
There is one in there, Clark.
Now?
It just got put up, it's not up and running yet.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
We just monitored it yesterday.
Well, that's why I haven't seen it. But, okay, so, I mean, you know, there's some upgrades we need around here.
I think you guys should have tablets.
I kinda do too, truthfully. So if we've got a little bit of excess, maybe we shouldn't say that we've got a little bit of excess.
Mike, I like having him here so I can whisper questions and ask him stuff without asking it out.
Alright. Motion to adjourn?
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Only one opposed.
So we'll be back, Mike.
Record off.